the item. Okay, there is a cost processing engine which refers to these cost profiles to calculate your cost and cost accounting distribution. So this distribution concept is exactly the same like how it's in EBS. The distributions and the inventory transactions, the distributions that is created. Only this part is exactly the same. It's just that the process to arrive to this distribution is a little more, like in Fusion they made it very modular. So they made it modular that multiple inventory orgs you can have only one costing defined. That costing is cost org. Okay. And then to have different views of the cost, you have two different cost orgs under the same PCBU. It's just a view. You can have one with standard cost, one if you want to just view a perpetual average or whatever. Okay. So here, each item in a cost org requires a cost profile so that you can calculate your transaction cost. It is required. And cost processor is nothing but an engine. So here I am showing you the default cost profile. And the default cost profile can be like expense. You can have an expense cost profile. You can have an asset cost profile. So just see this little screenshot. Like I said, I didn't get into all the setups in our system. But looking at these screenshots, you guys should be able to use the application. So you create a cost org, you create this cost book for this particular category. I will show you all the setup screens. We will see each of the setups individually. It's just that the whole fort we are not building. We are just showing you the entire fort, how it's built. Yeah. Okay. Then there's also something called as valuation structure. It again defines the level at which item costs are maintained. I had examples of this valuation structure. I can't recall. So what it says, when cost profile is assigned to an item, the cost processor, so whenever you run your cost processor, which actually does the calculation, it uses this valuation structure, which is defined on the profile to determine how the cost should be calculated. And this is the valuation structure which can be assets, expense, or for consigned inventories. Okay, so too many elements. We'll just go from the start once again.
Yeah, only one question, open question, but you don't need to answer that. But that is somehow we are unable to relate how when a cost org is same and the elements are same for a cost org, when you are that is associated to different inventory orgs, how we could get different costs of the same item in different orgs. Somehow we should get some clarity. Yeah.
Okay. A lot, the item cost is, so item cost is not like your price, right? You understand the difference between cost and price?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so when you have different set of transactions, so yes, the item cost, what do you say, at the start, you probably defining the same item cost at every org. But as and when you have more transactions, when you have more movements, the item cost will keep changing, right? That's what I mean.
Yeah, also if organization 1 buys an item at $8 and organization 2 buys that same item at $8.5, so now they have different costs.
Actually, right? No. Let me explain here. If it is the average cost, what you said is right. If it is a standard cost, cost will remain same, irrespective of the what cost you buy, or irrespective of different overheads are applied to that.
Irrespective of overheads, you are saying?
Yes, but because that goes into variance, a concept called variance.
No, so, variance is difference between your actual and projected, right? There is variance. That is difference between what you thought actually and what you finally did.
No. Actually, what happened? Let me explain you variance in simple terms. For example, I defined a standard cost of an item A at $10. Okay, but whereas I applied more resources, I got more rework and all, and the really cost of the transactions happened, the cost to that product got 110. Then the variance is $10. So similarly, a standard cost for a particular item is defined in an org. It uses gap principles actually, nothing to do with anything. So if it is defined as 100 and you bought the item at a different cost, this batch I bought for 110, next batch 120. So all these 10, 20 and all variances of purchase price variances. This is called just different variance. So if it is average cost, there is no concept of variance. All that is their averages out based on different costs. So it keeps dynamic. Whereas in standard cost, the cost remains same irrespective of how much cost is incurred in producing it or buying it. I mean.
Okay, I'll give you one example on the same lines what you said.
Okay.
Now, to have that same item, say in org 2, because they don't have the resource expertise, they have taken a senior resource to work on this particular item. That's when your resource cost is higher in org 2 versus the org 1. Even because of geographical conditions, or like how you say, what you call it, the minimum wage. The minimum wage in US, you could have different resource rates in the two organizations, right? So the cost being the same, I mean, you cannot make I feel it's incorrect to make a statement that the cost will always be the same in every organization. I mean, you're getting what I'm trying to say?
So now in short, you can say that the standard cost is defined separately for each org.
Correct.
So then that allows it to be different.
Correct. So here, this got implication on whatever you say that your term is cost book. Depends on cost book defined, what the type of cost book defined. It should the method of calculation is different. Am I right or wrong?
Correct.
So that's where
whenever you have the same method of calculation and you have the same things you want to calculate on, you use the same cost or cost book and all. Correct? And but the values within that can be different. So when I have different cost elements, so just let's take the example, like just imagine I have all these 4 cost elements in org 1 and org 2. But the material cost in org 1 is very different from in org 2. The overhead in cost 1 is very different in org 2. So that's when the costing will also be different. Right? And it will keep changing. Costing is again not like as in when you have transactions, as in when you have WIP transactions, as in when you have receiving transactions.
It changes in average cost book type, not in the standard cost book type. Am I right or no?
I thought the cost changes every time. No, it will change.
The standard cost does not change every time, but
yeah,
average cost will change every time.
Yeah, I think let's move on. Okay, so I think, can you say one thing? In a cost org, for example, if a cost book type is a standard or a cost book type is FIFO or a cash book type is average, then only the average orgs need to be linked to that cost org.
Average orgs need, yes. So basically here the costing is done from the cost org, right? You'll define different, like instead of using the term cost book, you have to use the term cost org.
Correct.
So if it is average, it will be different cost org. If you want to do standard and average, it will be different cost orgs.
I think so, correct. I think this statement is correct. So let's move on. I think we are going in lines of average cost actually, your explanation, okay?
Yeah. Okay. So there is also the setup, okay, where we set up as auto or manual. So here, if you set it up as auto, all the items that come under this get into this get into costed automatically, get into this cost profile automatically. Else you have to manually come and add them. So I've just given this highlight because this is something to note. We spoke about valuation structure, and this I've just listed the key schedule processes that typically in implementations are scheduled, like how we saw earlier this day, right? You go to the advanced setting and you schedule them at whatever frequency you want to. So whenever there are inventory transactions, in order for you to have those transactions costed, you have to run this job, transfer transactions from inventory, okay, to costing. Is there. This will take all the inventory transactions and transfer them to the costing module. Similarly, when you do work orders, you have to run this job, transfer work order transactions from manufacturing to costing. This is for all your WIP transactions and all. So very typically people miss when we are doing our like testing and training of such sort, people miss running this, because of which you will not see your cost in costing. So always be cautious about this. If you're using the maintenance module, you do this. So basically wherever you have transactions, you have to first give the input to costing. So that's when you run these jobs to transfer the cost to the costing module. And then you have your run controls. That all is very similar to how it is done in EBS. You have your run controls and you have your create accounting distributions.
So typically my question is, you see the distributions in cost org or you see in the inventory org?
Distributions.
Cost distributions, yes.
I think it's cost org. Everything in costing, the distributions and all is dependent on your cost org.
Oh, okay. So how frequently typically this schedule process is done? Is it for every 5 minutes, or is it for typically in your implementations what you are saying?
So the transfer transactions from inventory and manufacturing and all, we scheduled at I think 30 minutes, and the distribution one was also I think 30 minutes. Yes.
So, but typically not 12 actually. What happens is there is a delay in material transaction versus distributions. So sometimes it won't happen also. So where do you see that if there is a problem in converting an inventory transaction into an accounting distribution? Is there any errors or any tables in between where we can view the errors? Or
I think let's see this and then you can ask these questions, sir.
Yeah.
Let's see the whole process.
I'll show you the accounting. I'll show you the accounting distributions page, and because investigating of this issue is a very big issue. Like it's a very long process. You keep looking at transactions, whether they move to costing. It's a very long process.
Oh, is it? Okay. That's why I expected.
No, that's an advanced question. Let's finish seeing the basic module first.
Yeah.
Then you can ask that. You can make a note and you can ask it later.
I would not say it's advanced. Actually, to be very frank, it's a basic question. Okay.
No, but you need to see after we are seeing this module, not right now.
Any triage and any investigation is an advanced thing for sure, because first we only create entities. If you want to learn the whole triaging thing, it's when you have all your things in place. And triaging is very difficult. Like even normally, typically in the cloud, when you do sales orders and back-to-back processing, there's a lot of triaging involved. And the setups is easy, but the triaging, and even same in costing, the triaging is very key. Okay, so basically after this, I've kind of just gone into a little bit more on manufacturing. So I just want to show you the setup pages for this. Okay, so I'm just getting into the application, and now I will be just going to the setup and maintenance. Okay, I'm in my home screen. So here, just let's go to setup and maintenance. So when you go to the setup module, manufacturing and supply chain management, you scroll down. Here you have cost accounting. Okay, here the filter is right now on the required tasks. So these are the required tasks that you keep doing. So we create the cost org. This is what we saw during our PPTs. Okay, so in our interest, it's a very simple thing. Just creating a cost org is only these elements. Okay, nothing more.
Is it a different org, cost org? Is it, how do you define? Is it like inventory org? Cost org is another org?
Cost org is a logical entity, so it will not have a location and address like how we have in our inventory organizations, right?
Yes.
So this is the cost org. Okay, I just realized my cost org has a different legal entity, which is not right. It's okay. Like I said, I'm not doing much transactions. I'm just ignoring this. And once you're done with the cost org, you have to even give yourself access. So when you come here and you give yourself access to the cost orgs that you just created. So you have certain cost accounting role that you come and give yourself the access. Then you come here to
can you switch these legal entities in between? No, once it is defined, a cost org and inventory org, you cannot change that, am I right?
It should not be. Normally legal entities are never changed. You'll have to just delete and here see exactly.
Because the way you did it is you did it wrong. So if you have to correct it, how do you do that?
You inactivate and you create a new one. You inactivate this. Okay, I don't want to inactivate because in further examples I'm just using this entity. But legal entities, business units, normally you cannot change. Okay. Now coming to cost book. So here also.
Then if it is a different legal entity, you cannot connect the right inventory orgs into this, am I right? This cost org and this inventory org should be under the same legal entity.
Yes. Yes.
So you cannot even connect them.
Yes, you cannot.
So I think better we define one. Yeah.
Yeah, we can. You can do that. Like I said, I'm not getting into every detail of every transaction because you'll have to connect too many dots. And for a 2 or 3 hour session, I found that too much. So I'm going to show you every page. I'm going to show you every capability in Fusion, and then we can keep exploring.
Now relax a bit. Let her complete her thing.
I'm relaxed, man. Okay.
Okay, so this is like how you just set up a cost book. You just do this much, that's it. Okay. And after your cost book, you do this cost org relationship. This is where you search for your cost org and associate the reference objects, the set assignment, like I said. Okay. Here, okay, let me just show you.
What is this? Okay.
You can either do a cost planning setup, the reference data, or a cost code setup, or you can do both. What is cost planning? I will kind of cover in the most of manufacturing stuff. It's just to view the end assembly's rolled up cost. So you can make multiple changes, keep viewing the cost before you finally publish the cost. Okay, so that's all come under cost planning. So here is where you firstly define that this cost org is going to be used for what, and then this is the place where you associate your inventory orgs. And yes, I will not be able to search because I've made a mistake there. Okay, our test org should not be visible here. Okay, like I expected, it's not. Okay, it's not visible. That's because you saw what we did. And you can associate a cost book here, the cost book that we created in the previous step. Okay.
Yeah, so the first tab I did not fully understand. What is set assignment?
Here is again the reference data set. Like we have the enterprise and the common data set.
Oh, okay, it's just for that data set.
Yeah, yeah. And here you're telling, like in costing there are two modules. One is like costing, that's costing code setup, and one is cost planning.
Okay, so those are the only two choices.
Yes, those are the only two choices.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, then you have your valuation structures. So you just keep following the sequence, and then the valuation structure at what, like whether cost org or whether inventory orgs are required, what do you do?
Yes. Let us see this a bit more carefully. Let's see this carefully. What?
Sorry?
Yeah, I just want to see this a little carefully what there is here.
Okay.
Actually, I have not followed the cost book. Can you show me? Because that's a very critical step.
Okay, I'll show you.
She just defined the name right now. Nothing further was done.
Right now, cost book is only just a name, and we associated. Okay, let me just quickly go back so that you're clear. So in cost book, we only just defined a name, nothing else. That's it, just a name.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then we associated everything to our cost org. So what you do here, so first you define what data, what this cost org, what all it's supposed to do. It is doing costing setup also, and it is doing your cost planning also. And what is the cost book? What are the inventory organizations that fall under it? You can add 3 organizations also under this. Okay. So here I'm just associating these 3 elements to a cost org. That is all we did in this page. After that, we are coming to the valuation structure.
Okay.
Now, before going to the valuation structure, where we define average cost or FIFO or
It'll come.
Okay.
Okay. Here valuation structure, you can say what valuation structure type, like whether it's an asset, this valuation structure, or whether it's an expense. Okay. Let me just plus it.
What are
And
these
what
valuation structure board? Let's see these different columns. Okay.
this asset expind or asset expense or consigned. Okay. Code is nothing but, like I said, the code which is sent in our code.
We are creating a new structure, correct?
No, I just selected an existing structure.
But the word
No,
is create, right?
structure set. Sorry. No, the structure set. The
The
structure
heading
set
is create.
Yeah. We are creating a new cost structure. I'm using an existing structure set.
Set. And
Okay.
the structure code we
I'm
will
calling it
define
an asset.
asset, and this valuation structure code you have to give new, right? This you have to enter, correct? Fresh.
This one.
What are the types? What are the types? Different types available. Asset. Can you just
Asset, expense, and consigned.
Where do we general inventory thing? What do you do? Is it called asset?
You define both your asset costs and expense costs both. You have to cost both of them.
Okay. What is
Okay.
consigned with the consigned art?
Consigned is the consigned inventory concept.
Okay.
So if you have consigned inventory, that's when you use consigned valuation structure.
Okay.
Okay.
So this one is entered. The third field is entered.
And here, like I said, whether you do both auto and manual or manual, that's because if you have any items that come, you'll have automatically, you'll have these item profiles added. Like I said, item cost profile is a mandatory thing. If you set it to auto, these valuation structures automatically will add your new item. Flex field structure. I'm not too sure on what this field does, because flex field should be additional. Okay, this is what governs your costing attributes, whether you're defining whether you're costing only for the cost org, or whether it's cost org and the inventory org, or whether it's cost org, inventory org, and the sub inventory.
Okay.
So the kind of the level. Okay.
Actually, it got a lot of implication. I guess, that one.
Yes, of course. Because these are where your costing attributes are coming from. So at what level you have your costing attributes being fed into the cost processor?
That means within an org, you can have, or within a sub-inventory, or within a lot, you can have different cost structures. Is it correct?
Cost structure. What do you mean by a cost structure?
The flexible structure, the way it is, we have different options, like cost org, or org sub-inventory, and I think lot, I think something like that, am I right? You got different
It's for the elements. It's for each of the elements, so that you can have your valuation at different level. So if you want to track the cost valuation at a sub-inventory level or at a lot level, right? It's just it's at the granular, at what level you want to get into and track your cost. Whether I'm happy to know the item cost at the inventory org level, I'm okay. Whatever is costed to my organization, I'm okay. But certain, can I say high value material, or can I say sensitive material? I want to know the cost of it at the sub inventory level, or at the higher level.
Oh, really? You can do that?
Yeah, that is what we just did.
I think Deepti, I think the here is, if you wanted to impact the cost or update the cost at different levels, that's what you will use.
I won't say impact, but yeah, it's for your where your costs are. Okay, impact, maybe, yes, you can say that.
Costs are updated.
Correct.
Periodic
Correct.
updates.
Correct.
Right?
Basically, as a costing manager, at what all levels you want to evaluate the cost. So say for my laptop, I want to see what it's costing to the organization, or what it's costing in that particular sub inventory, which is like, a little away, and what it's costing in this particular sub inventory.
So is that means the cost can differ. Same item within an org can differ from this sub inventory to another sub inventory. I can have
That That is my understanding, Rao, but I think you experts are saying it's not, so I am not going to
No,
comment on
this
this.
is, this is,
I will go with you.
I am not
In
telling
the-
you. I never told you that's not correct. Whatever you're telling is correct. So your cost is varying. The way it is given, I am understanding. I may be wrong, but
No,
uh,
exactly. Even I may not be 100% accurate here, but my understanding is like, so okay, I think maybe the disclaimer here is in costing, I don't consider myself an expert. In a lot of other modules, I am an expert. But yeah, in this module, I'm somehow, like how I was telling Dilip the other day, like planning module, no matter even if I deliver it, I don't consider myself an expert, and I'm always fear that there can be a better design. So in costing also, I always have a fear that maybe I'm not right. So when I initially went on saying that the cost differs, I still believe that, but I can't say that with 100% conviction. But what I have seen is what I feel that the cost did vary. So again, so for last almost a year or so, I've been working only on procurement and expense objects. So I think what I used this is at least a year ago, and I remember the cost being different in different organizations. That's the reason I stated that
Yeah.
point. Now,
No,
whether
no.
I'm right or wrong, even I'm not sure. But
No,
this
no,
is what
this
my
looks like
understanding.
this is a place where you define that, so I didn't know that. But
Okay.
I assumed it was only at cost org, but you have so many more options here, so many more levels at which you can keep the cost.
Yeah. Actually, I'm
This is-
seeing this surprise. Actually, this is so much of flexibility. You
This
can
is way advanced compared to EBS in that sense, in terms of the
Oh yes,
structure.
costing is very advanced in the sense it's very modular.
Right.
You can mold it like clay in any way you want, and that is what increases the complexity levels in
Yeah.
in Fusion. And same, like if you see price list module in EBS is such a simple module. Like literally, I think when I learned price list, I would have learned it in 3 days, right? But in pricing in Fusion, they have complicated it like hell, like
No,
hell.
EBS also you have a lot of complications relating to attributes and other things. You do have
But here,
complications.
the whole idea of deriving to a price list and defining a price list is super complicated, in Fusion. Like there we just define a price list, we have qualifiers. Done. You can associate price list to your orders, right?
No, you
Here,
can
to
do
get
advanced things. You can do advanced
no,
things
no, I'm
related
just
to
saying like a basic, like if you want to do a basic implementation, I have qualifiers, I have price list, I start using it. Suppose for a
Right.
very basic, like
Yeah,
vanilla.
that's true. The basic is easy. Yeah.
But for the basic infusion, you have to do so many things, and it's, oh God,
Right.
it's confusing. So even costing, like that's basically the capability. So at different levels, you can modularize it, and you can reuse at different levels. So
actually.
this is all that.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that you can do at serial level, lot grade level, lot level. I mean, different. I mean, this is
And I'm
Wow.
surprised that all this is not there in EBS. Okay, I don't know.
this is
Yeah,
mind
no,
blowing.
this is not the EBS.
Oh, that's interesting. I know costing is very like it's very complex in Fusion for sure. And the first time I started using costing was directly for contract manufacturing costing. Oh God, that killed me. I can't
Oh,
tell you how much it killed me.
Actually, it got a lot of implications. This is a mind blowing flexibility.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. This is very good. Yeah.
that's great to know. So okay, like I said, we'll just
Okay.
move
So
on.
now
It's
I
actually
understand
our
what valuation structure is about. Okay.
okay. So we are kind of at a logical point now, and then we can go over this. So do you guys want to take our break?
Yeah, we can do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are also 11 minutes over our break time, but no worries. We can take our break now, and we can meet back. Would you say an hour from now, or do you want to meet like for 50 minutes because
Yeah,
we
50
have,
minutes should be okay. I don't think we need an hour.
okay,
Yeah.
and then if sure, yeah, you had some input,
Let's
Rao?
come back at 10:40. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, basically 50 minutes from now. And yeah, if we finish the session earlier, we can do that. We can take questions. We can do anything. Okay, let's
Okay,
break
thank
now and meet in the next 50 minutes.
you. Okay, fine.
50.
Thank you.
Thank you.
50. Yes, 50. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Hi, Deepti. Hello.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here too. Just give me 1 minute more. And we can define it as manually as well.
Dilip, have you worked on subledger costing in R12?
Hi, yeah.
I think if you have subledger costing, kind of you can model this kind of a cost structure, am I right?
I didn't understand. What is the question?
I think the way you can evaluate costs and you can have some kind of a rules, kind of a, you can simulate this kind of a thing using subledger costing.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious, obviously.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I never worked on it, but I was told that's what is the function of this. I think it is given straight away here, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, subledger accounting is also one process, but yeah, if you know subledger accounting, this cost accounting will become very simple for you.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'm just going to the setup page that we were in. So in the setup, I'm in manufacturing and supply chain material management. Then come here to cost accounting. Okay, we had seen this valuation structures. Let's just open this once again.
After explaining one concept, please give us some pause so that to ask questions with Deepti. Yeah, that way it will help. We don't have
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can let her finish a particular page and then we can ask questions afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm moving to the next element in our required set of tasks. This is what we saw in the first of our slides about cost element, cost components, and cost profiles. Okay, so let's see the cost elements. We have the seeded 4 elements, and you can define as many elements as you like.
Yeah, we could see direct labor. Yeah.
Okay. I've not used this analysis group. I'm not sure what this is. I never used it. Yeah,
What is that?
I don't know. I think is it just for further, drilling down to analysis reports and all that. I guess I've never used this. In fact, I took notice of this area just now when during this. I mean, just right now.
So it is not mandatory then.
No, it's not. It's not. So we just define our cost elements in this page, and
Quick question here before you switch over that page. Can you open that page? Yeah. See here on the page, I think we were asking a lot of questions on different type of cost elements. You see here, cost element type is resource, overhead, material. I think you have not listed out all the seeded. These are all seeded element types, am I right? The third one.
Correct. These are the ones which were listed in my PPT.
No, I think go back. You don't have resource at all. You see.
Yeah.
These are the seeded ones, what I've seen from the document. It could be that resources are created by someone. But this is from Oracle's document.
No, this is element or this is element type?
Element type, that is.
Yeah, so these are the seeded elements. So it's, like I said, you can keep creating your element types also. So I'm not sure, like either Oracle added it later.
No, I think type must be seeded. Can you do a new one? Can you just click on plus sign and let's see?
The element type you cannot create here, but there will be a setup page for the element type.
So you see, what you listed in the PowerPoint is actually element types and not elements.
Yeah. I think these are all the things you need to update your PowerPoint, please.
Again, one second. What I'm trying to say is, this is the seeded element types from, or the seeded elements also, from Oracle's document.
Create element types. Element types must be only seeded.
No. I guess you should be able to create. I'm not too sure. Like I said, it's been quite a while since I've worked on all this. Can you hear me?
Can you go to the page, please, if you don't mind?
One second. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Earlier I heard.
Maybe my connection is bad.
Oh, Dilip is not able to hear us?
Okay, now I'm able to hear. Okay, my connection was bad maybe.
Yeah. Maybe your internet.
Turn up page expired page.
I cannot see your page actually. Can you open the page, please?
Can you see my page or
so
you can't see. It is staying on the main menu.
Should be the net's connection because I see that I'm sharing.
Is it just my problem?
Element type, cost element type, please. List down values.
Yeah, I'm going there. Hold on.
Okay, now I can see your screen. Element types. Do you have element types anywhere?
Yeah, I'm just seeing it. Mostly could be a lookup. So normally all these element types and all is a lookup. So what I've picked up is from the Oracle's document. So it could be that you defined your own element type of resource.
Can you open new element, please?
Here element. No,
Element
hold on 1 second. Let me complete this activity. Then whatever you want, I will open.
Sure.
So here, this is where you open the element. This is where you create the element types. From the Oracle's document, I picked up that there are 4 seeded ones. And what extras you see here, it's highly possible that people have created on their own, or with the latest release upgrades, Oracle has started providing them. There is no way for me to make out over here. But again, for me, the Oracle's documents were the source of truth for my PPT. And again, the latest documents from Oracle. I didn't refer to the older versions. So just
I think my guess is that these are seeded.
Could be that in the latest thing Oracle has seeded this, but what I picked up in my PPT is from the latest material of 18C from Oracle.
Okay.
Okay. And here also you can create any type, I'm sure. Okay, I don't know.
No, you can't create a new one. So it looks like it's blocked from adding types.
Core setup system. Normally all lookups you can create by yourself.
Yeah, but
I don't
in
know
this, they might, no, they restrict some lookups, they might be restricting.
But again, see, notice this, okay? If there's a description on certain of them, and this is like all...
no, that seems to be optional.
It's optional, but like you can make out which is from Oracle. Okay, anyways, that's not the key here.
How do you make out actually which is from Oracle, seeded or not seeded? How do you make out?
Sometimes you have a column which kind of highlights the seeded ones. Like in a lookup, we don't expect to have. But in the lookup, you know what happens is, if there's a code, suppose in this thing there'll be a code. Anything from Oracle seeded will start with ORA, ORA underscore. That's how they begin. So if there was a code, anything with ORA typically is Oracle. And anything with following a pattern, like, you see how when I create for testing or training reasons, I don't necessarily give a description always, unless I'm doing a prod setup for a customer. So,
where it starts with ORA?
Like some elements.
The code, but not in this case.
Yeah, not in this case, but some elements, if you're just seeing some data, if you see a code, then
actually,
the code usually begins with ORA.
In EBS, you have a checkbox which says seeded or not.
Here also certain pages use a predefined checkbox, a checkbox called predefined. I think in one of our earlier, quality, we saw somewhere it was showing system, it was showing predefined.
You know what is this reset access secured? Secured. You see, what is that meaning of that?
Where?
REST access secured.
Where are you seeing that?
Last column, heading.
No, on top.
Oh, REST is the service. Remember I told you the full form of it also. I forgot now. REST is the web service method. Like you can have REST now. Oracle Fusion entirely uses the REST services. There are something called SOAP web services and there's something called REST web services. All of Oracle Fusion uses REST web services. So it says REST means the web service access whether it's secured or not. The web service, if you have a web service for these elements. Okay, I gave you the full form also of REST last time. Now even I don't remember again.
Yeah, I know. I also having a Rick Perry moment right now.
Yeah, I can't remember. Though I worked a lot on SOAP and REST, I can't remember. But REST is a very advanced form of web services. It's the latest thing in web services. Most of the developers are very it's there. If you have a web service developer, REST is his way forward, something like that.
That's fine. Let's move forward. Okay.
Okay, so I'll go back to cost elements page.
Anyway, I'm much more comfortable, satisfied now. I'm seeing more elements there. It feels better for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, these are how you just define your cost elements. And then you define your cost components which you will link to these elements. So this is the cost
So those
component.
elements are across all orgs,
Yes.
or
We fit them all this into the cost profile and cost or cost book. You will see that.
no?
So
So once you add an additional element, it is there for every single cost org.
correct. Right now it's independent. Right now it's just sitting there like an element that you can pick up, and you can pick up in multiple cost books, multiple cost orgs.
Okay. So you don't have to pick up all of them for each given org.
Right. So suppose in your implementation you have like 10 inventory organizations with 3 cost orgs that you defined or decide. So right now you're just doing the master setup for cost elements. It's like the
Okay.
master for cost elements, which is across your project.
Across the instance, am I right?
Yes, across the instance, correct.
Okay.
Now here you define a cost component group. Its group is just a logical thing. Here are the cost components and the cost elements that you do. Okay, let's just do this step. Again, this is also like a master step. Okay, you should ensure this your row is highlighted. Then you come here, click on plus, add your cost component source. So there's another concept of landed cost management, which I think is new in Fusion. I'm not even going there. I have never done that. That's also a tracking or a detailed level tracking of your cost, and that's how you arrive to the landed cost. That is how that material, you know, all its entire path and how the cost is arrived. So it's a big, within costing, it's a module which I've
It's a
never
module in
touched.
EBS as well. Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
a
that's
cost method. Actually, landed cost is a cost method in EBS.
Oh, no, here it's not a cost method. And in fact, it's a completely separate module which you can choose
No,
not
it's,
to
it's a
touch.
module by itself. It's not a method. I don't know what all that module has.
Yeah, same
But
here.
essentially, it's for imported goods where you can define duty and handling and forwarding charges and all that. It's really used for that.
Okay, okay. Okay, then here you come to, after you have your cost source, I'm just choosing predefined. You're using the set that we've used earlier. Now your cost component codes. Is it because we didn't use the right, sorry, I was trying to.
Oh, wow.
I think it goes with the average costing, am I right, sir? I believe. I think you're right. It is a different module, but it goes.
Yeah, I expect so, but maybe FIFO, LIFO as well. But who knows? I've not used that module myself.
Because you're correct, FIFO actually. It is not average. It goes with FIFO. Yeah.
Right, correct. You know what? That may be different, but let's see.
I don't know why my cost components are not there.
Do the search.
The search is not fetching anything. 1 second, I just want to see the setup page. It could be that again related to the set and all, but no, we didn't define a set yet.
Okay, let's see existing data then. We don't have to define new data.
No, there is nothing in there. There's nothing in there. It's completely blank. So I'm just trying to see the lookup if they have some values. Cost component code here. There are some values.
It is just a lookup. It should really show.
And they're all enabled. Sometimes, you know, if they're not enabled or they're end dated, you can have. That's what I'm checking. I see it here. It could be that we are not, like I said, I've not been following a lot of key standards, like, you know, the set that we are using, the cost component set. It could be that somewhere, you know, because of our set is not proper, I didn't create all this by myself, right? I'm just using, like, okay, let's just see something which is already there here in this default component mapping. From the name, I understand it's from Oracle. Okay, yeah, here the predefined is the Oracle's predefined stuff. Okay, so this is how it will appear when you do. You will have a cost component, and you define a set name. You defined all your cost component code here.
Can you define the same thing, predefined? Can you add one more?
Here I'm sure we should be able to add.
Yeah. That way we can see the elements here.
Okay, let's select enterprise set. Even in ours, if you would have selected enterprise set, we would have had data.
Correct.
See, all this data is in the enterprise set. So even in our group, we can just select the enterprise set. Okay. Reference set name.
So blind search should do, no? There is no asterisk.
I think the blind search didn't fetch, I can't recall. But actually, yeah, there's no asterisk, so the blind search should do. Okay, instead of scrolling, that's why I just gave it as. Okay, these are the cost component codes that we just saw. Oops, why is it blank? So again, what I think here is, so typically, one second, what is this? Typically, if all these are covered earlier, I guess that's the reason we have this blank. So many times.
Yeah, okay. Nothing left to add.
Yeah, nothing left to add, exactly.
What is that? Actually, this is cost component mapping.
One second, I'll show you. I'll show you if we can edit any existing
where
one.
It falls in the structure, cost component.
Cost component. Okay, one second.
Yeah, cost component is kind of element, cost element.
Sub-element.
Yeah. So cost component is a more granular level in which all you want to, which is mapped to a cost elements, and you can track the component cost at that granular level. So you see here, you create your cost components, map them to your elements, then you put all this in a cost component group, which is added to your profile.
So cost component is the lowest level.
Yes. Okay, so here this is the cost component group. So from our PPT, this cost component group is what is there in the header. Here we have all our cost components. So we are having a direct labor, we have equipment, and then we have cost elements. So I would say cost element is the lowest level, because see, under, wait one second.
No, component is lower than element.
Yeah, component is at lower level. So here we are saying the element is a material. So basically here we are defining all the components and the cost elements which fall under this component group.
So what we are defining is cost elements here, right?
Both cost element and cost component. You're defining both here.
Then you can have multiple combinations should be.
I think now what you're doing is you're setting up a component group which includes many components right now. And components are always having an element attached to it. An element obviously has a type attached to it. So the group where it is used, we'll see now. We have to see where the component group is used.
Yeah. So here you see they are the source for the, what are the source cost elements, what are your destination cost elements. Okay. Within these elements, these will be the cost components. So under
what is source and destination?
Remember I showed you where you can use certain cost for the profit planning, not profit planning, what was it called? I've also not used that bit. This one, the profit and inventory cost element. Okay, so there you have your source cost elements and the destination cost elements, which are typically used when you transfer from one inventory or to other.
Okay, it's meant for transfer. Okay, source and destination is meant for transfer.
Yeah, so if you decide to use the cost element profit and inventory cost element, so here you can see the cost element type. So suppose if you're seeing some cost element, if there's cost element type is profit and inventory. There's a source and destination.
But source and destination should be specific to the pair of orgs, right?
Yes.
So that's not seen here, right? Is that seen here?
Right now we didn't come to that level. Right now we are just doing all our master setup. Once the master setup is done, we get.
But you already set up a source and destination.
That's only a bucket. That's only a bucket.
And now whatever you like in this, you will associate to your cost profile and cost orgs. The cost profile basically.
Okay. Choose a particular group where you have already set up the source and destination accordingly.
Okay. So this was about, basically we created a cost component group with this.
Group, yeah.
Okay. What we saw in our PPT earlier.
The PPT you said cost component. Should I have to relate that to cost component group?
Yeah.
One second. I'll show you the PPT once again.
After
cost component, we also define the cost component group.
Correct. Okay, this is next to the cost profile level in that actually.
So here, these are the cost components, these are cost elements, they are together, they form a cost component group. And this group is attached to your item cost profile.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we don't attach individual components and elements to the profile, we attach the whole group.
Okay.
The group which contains components and elements. Okay, so we are done with this component cost. This is the component cost group basically. Now our next step is the cost profile. So whatever we did all on top here is what you're going to be attaching. So I think the standard cost was it done by me? I can't recall. I think I did this. I can't recall. Let's see. Or was it the seeded one? So here you have a standard cost. What costing method we are doing? We have the 3 costing methods: standard, perpetual, and actual. So we are using the standard cost. Process negative quantity.
Can you just a little bit spend time on the cost method, please? That's very critical. So actual cost, average, and standard. Am I right? Is it any difference between perpetual average and average?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
What is the
okay, FIFO, LIFO is another column. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll tell you what I understand. Again, like I said, a lot of this costing module, it's very hard for me to express myself because maybe I'm not too confident or maybe I'm not too clear. But what I understand is, so there's a concept here that was it even standard cost or actual cost? I can't remember. But one of these costs can only the standard costs, we publish them. I told you there's a cost planning process. There's a module called cost planning. Okay. So in that cost planning, you are just view, like how you, like Dilip, I remember you telling me that you're a planning person and you can view plans, you can view the output, you can view that if you run the plan, this is what the replenishment you'll be creating.